Hey guys, if this is your first time viewing this channel, my name is Cynthia and welcome to my channel, Graciously Growing. On this channel, I incorporate two things that I love, two things that bring me joy, and that is growing plants and growing in the Word of God. So you guys, today is July 9th, and today I am going to share with you what is going on in my plant collection, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So there's a lot of things going on, and we're going to start here in my plant room, and then I will go downstairs to my kitchen area and lastly my office area. I used to say that the majority of my plants were here in my plant room, but my office is turning into its own little plant haven. I think I'm at capacity in that area. Not today, but in another video, I'm going to share with you all of the changes I've made in my office to make it more comfortable because I have to spend a lot of time in there, and plants just bring me joy. And so initially I didn't have a lot of plants in there, but I've definitely changed the vibe in my office area. But today, let's talk about what's going on as far as the good and bad and the ugly in my collection. So you guys, the first update I'm going to give you is definitely going to go in the ugly category. Okay, so as you can see, this is my Monstera Asonia, and you might say, why is this plant in the ugly category? Well, I'm going to put some footage on the screen here because this plant had mealybugs, and so I had to treat her, and I'm carefully watching and looking at her like I'm doing right now, to make sure that I have ridded her of all of her pests. She did have a new leaf coming in right here, and I think that it is not going to open up or unfurl, and if it does, I see some brown spots on it already. So I think, you know, with her having mealybugs, it will be struggling, and it definitely won't be a nice leaf. I haven't decided if I'm just gonna cut it off. I'm just trying to wait to see if it's gonna unfurl at all before I make my decision. But yeah, because she had mealybugs, she is in the ugly category. But other than that, she's doing pretty well. And hopefully I have ridden her of all her pests and she can continue to grow. So yeah, that is the first plant that I wanted to update you on in my plant room. Okay guys, this is the next plant I want to give you an update on. Hopefully you can see her. So this is my philodendron, obviously ring of fire here. And the reason why she's in the update is because she's giving me a new leaf. I'm trying to turn this so I think you can see it. So this is a new leaf, just unfurled maybe 2 or 3 days ago. It was in the process of unfurling for about a week, but it completely unfurled and is, I think, pretty much hardened up by now. And it's a beautiful leaf, but I have noticed that it is not as big as the other leaves. So I'm not sure what to think about that. The variegation though is very nice. So I looked in the back to see, because I just recently put this on a moss pole, and guess what, you guys? I see roots. Let me see if I can share that. I think you can see that. See right here, going completely up? That is a root right there. So she is growing into the moss pole, which is a great thing. And I'm hoping that the next leaf will be bigger and will have the same or more variegation than this one right here. Okay guys, this is my next update. This is my Philodendron Pink Princess. She has given me 2 new leaves, and that's why she's in this update. Now the first leaf was damaged while it was unfurling. I think it got stuck, and so it's not perfect obviously, but it's still a beautiful leaf. And then it started giving me this leaf here, which is still unfurling, and from what I can see, it's going to be really beautiful with a lot of variegation. What I've started doing is, because it's really hot here, and in the Pacific Northwest, we don't get heat like this. It's 100 degrees today, you guys. It's hot. So I have been misting the leaves to try leaves that are new leaves that are unfurling, to try to help the plant out. And I'm looking to see, because I just recently put this one on a moss pole as well. Ooh, I do see at least 1 root, you guys. I don't know if I can show you this. See how close I can get you. There is, I can see it until I, okay, I think I know where it's at now. So if you see, there we go, right here. Can you see that? That is a root. That is a root. So another, I think, successful placing a plant on a moss pole. And so she's giving me 2 new leaves. She feels a little light. So it's probably, water day is tomorrow. So I think she'll be okay until tomorrow. But yeah, that's my next update. Okay guys, my next update is my Monstera Thai constellation. If you can hear a noise in the background, excuse me, it's a fan. And you would be chuckling if you saw how I have this fan. Actually, it's a clip-on fan, and I've connected it to the stand of my ring light, so it's blowing directly on me right now, because again, you guys, it's hot. In my plant room, which is good for the plants, it maintains its humidity, you know, because of the humidifier, which obviously I have it set so it's not coming on today because it's so hot, it doesn't need to. But with the humidifier and all of these plants and how small this room is, it gets really warm in here. But anyway, my Monstera Thai constellation is unfurling a new leaf. Oh yeah, these plants are dry, you guys. I may water them today because, like I said, it's 100 degrees and I don't want to stress these plants out, and so I may water them this evening when it cools down. But anyway, look, a new leaf. So I'm very excited that I have been able to keep this plant happy and healthy since I purchased it, and that is my next update. And right by her is another update. So actually 3 updates. So let me get the next plant. So you guys, if you saw the video when I purchased this plant from California, when I went on a trip with my daughter for her to see one of her favorite K-pop groups, we were in Oakland and LA for 2 different concerts with the same group. and I shared with you how I was able to bring this plant back on the plane, and how I was concerned. Let me take this off, it's making too much noise. Okay, and how I was concerned about them allowing me to bring the plant back, even though I brought plants back on the plane before, but you know, different airlines. I was concerned about that. I was concerned about whether it would just be stressed from, you know, being on the plane, even though it was in the plane, on the plane with me, because it was in my carry-on, and whether I would damage any leaves. So you guys, I did. Okay, first of all, there were 2 small leaves when I first purchased it that are gone. They yellowed off, but the other leaves, these 3, are doing well. This leaf has some type of damage. I think that this plant does not like for water to be, the leaves to get water. I can't find it now, but I saw, oh, it's on this one. Yeah, in the seat, you can see that. And I think that's water damage. Can you see that? A little bit of, but it's not that you can tell it's not the leaf dying, it's just been damaged. So I have to be very careful, like when I spray or anything, that water does not touch the leaves. But you guys, this is why it's in my update for today. This is a brand new leaf, since being in my care, and it's looking great. It was a little smaller when it first came out, and I was saying, it's not the same size, but this leaf is sizing up. It's gotten bigger. It's still, I don't think it's hardened up all the way yet, but look at it. So I'm quite pleased. It's not as variegated as the other leaves, but again, I'm not quite sure how this works with this plant. So the variegation may continue to get more prominent. And I don't think I've told you, this is my Alocasia Adora variegated. So yeah, so let's see if I can get this tag back in here. So I am very pleased with this plant. It's loving my plant room. And I feel like if there was going to be if this plant was going to be stressed or start dying, you know, due to transporting it so far away and the plane ride and all of that, it would have already done so. So I think we're good to go. It's definitely one of my favorite plants. But there's another update, you guys, in this area. Okay, so here's the next update. Right by my philodendron, my Alocasia Adora. This is my Alocasia Fancy. Now, I've said in the video when I first showed you when I purchased this that I'm not sure if this is really a Alocasia Fancy, but that's what the tag says. And the reason why I'm questioning that is because when I purchased this plant, there was a plant right by it, same plant, and it said Alocasia Mellow. So I was like, one of them was mislabeled. And so I don't know if this is an Alocasia Fancy or Alocasia Mellow, but it's been doing quite well. Initially it was in I think it was in my Mills Bowl. I think it's been in both. I think it spent some time in my Mills Bowl Tall. I then moved it to my Mills Bowl Wide, and now it is outside of the cabinet and it's doing well, and is part of the update because we have a new leaf that just unfurled, and you can tell because look at the color, completely different color because it's new. And so this plant is doing very well. Yeah, and is why it's in my update. So let's see, you guys. I want to check around here in my plant room and see what else I want to share with you. Okay, you guys, there are some good things going on the top of my Mills Bowl Wide. Let me share with you the first thing. Okay. This is my Alocasia Jacqueline. So it's some good things and some bad things. I lost a leaf, and when I looked at the leaf, it looked like it was bent, like it was almost snapped. So I may have inadvertently damaged it, but anyway, it yellowed off, obviously, because the stem was damaged. And I was like, man, I was about to have 4 leaves. But I did get a new leaf that is just unfurling right here. And I love the size of this leaf compared to the other ones. I mean, it is smaller, but again, it may size up, but it looks really good. It's almost finished unfurling. This is one of my favorite alocasias. I would say this, I'm trying to find a stake to keep it up because they like to hang over, and it takes up a lot of room, and you have to be careful when you move them or you will damage them because they're leaning over other plants. Sometimes when I pick it up to water, it's under, you know, it's like I don't notice that it's like entwined with another plant, and that may be how I broke the other or damaged the other stem. But anyway, yeah, good update. And right by it, you guys, just be careful that I don't do what I just said, is my Xanthofolia. I believe that's the way you pronounce that. I've had one before. I let it, I didn't intentionally let it dry out, but the soil was bad, and I watered it, and it dried out before the next watering, and I ultimately just lost the plant. But I have a little bit more knowledge now, and I can make the determination when I purchase a plant whether or not the soil that it's in is okay, or does it need, you know, to be repotted. So this is one of my newest plants. You will see this plant again when I share with you plants that I've purchased in the month of July and possibly June, because I don't remember if I did a plants that I purchased in the month of June. So that video will be coming for June and July. You will see this plant again because it's fairly new, but it has a new leaf coming out. So yeah, it's doing really well, and that is why it's in the update. And you guys, right by it. Okay, let's see. Right by it. I'm really happy with. Hold on. Okay. I have to watch where I'm stepping because my plant room, if I show you on the floor, it's a mess because I am trying to prep my plants for going away, and I have this process that I'm going to share with you, but it means that I've taken a lot of the plants out of the Mills Bowl Tall and Wide, which means they're on the floor, and I have to remember to watch where I step. But this Alocasia is doing really good. My Alocasia Friday. It just gave me, I don't remember, one of these leaves, 1, 2, 3, one of these leaves are new. I know it's not this one because I've always noticed that this leaf is a little wonky on the end. So I know this one was always there. I believe it's this one. I believe it's either this one or this one. Is a fairly new leaf. And look, it's giving me another one, which is amazing, is coming out. Because literally this one just unfurled last week, and I already have a new leaf coming out. I really like this plant. This plant also was in my cabinet and is now hanging out on top of my Mills Bowl Wide and is doing quite well. Okay, so let's see. What else do I want to share with you? Oh, you guys, so excited. Remember when I purchased one of my wish list plants I think it was the same time that I purchased the Monasterity. I also purchased the Florida Ghost. And this, you guys, is her new leaf. Look at that. And it's absolutely perfect, which I believe is letting me know that she is quite happy. So yeah, you know, most of the plants that I have been sharing with you have been really looking, you know, feeling thirsty. But this particular plant, I think that's the sheath, when, you know, a new leaf comes in. Oh, oh my God, you guys look. I did not see that. Another leaf. It's really happy. It's really happy. So anyway, like I was saying, this plant is not like most of the plants in here. It's nice and moist still, so that's a good thing. I would put this in the bad category, this next plant, my Calathea Yellow Fusion, and this is all on me. It's really thinning out because, again, it dried out in between waterings. I've changed the soil, and I have went through this whole entire room. I haven't done downstairs yet, but I'm going to do that before I leave, and check the soil for each of my plants. And if they looked like it was a little suspicious, I have gone ahead and changed the soil, and then that gives me time to monitor the plant to make sure it's okay before I leave. So I haven't, see, like right now this soil is not, it's not moist, but it's not dry like it was. But anyway, it dried out. I lost about 10 leaves, and so it's a little thin, but it does have some new growth coming in, so I think it's gonna forgive me. See right here, it's a new leaf. Is there any more? And this one is unfurling right here. So yeah, I think it's gonna be okay. But yeah, I had to cut back quite a bit of leaves because it just dried out. I'm trying to, it's hard to do because I'm really busy, but I'm trying to, you know, come in and check mid watering, like 2-3 days after I water, because I try to water every 7 days. So like 3.5 to 4 days, come to check in to see if any of the plants need watering. But I have a big collection. I'm really busy, and so sometimes I don't get to do that. So let me see, you guys, any more updates in here. Yes, and I really don't want to move this plant because it's kind of big, but let me get it. Okay. You guys, you know how I feel about my aglaonemas. If you have watched my channel for any length of time, you know that my favorite, hands down, genius is aglaonemas. And I think my second favorite genius, you know what? I don't even know. That's still out to be discovered. To be determined, that is. But this is definitely my favorite genius. And look at what's going on with my aglaonema red emerald. Can you see this? The leaves are so beautiful. Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to get you to see this new leaf. There you go. You can see it right there. There you go. See that new leaf? It's unfurling. Do we have any more? Yes. And this one here, if I can show it to you, right there. It's a new leaf. So this plant, but you know one thing about this plant, whether it's summer, fall, winter, spring, it continues to give me new leaves. And so this is one of the plants that I probably will fertilize even in the what we call the off growing season. I won't fertilize it every time, but maybe like once a month, because it continues to give me beautiful leaves. This is, if I had to say what is my favorite Algonema, I would say, because I love them all, but I think right now there's so many more I want to collect, but as far as the ones I have in my collection, this is my favorite. I just love how deep green the leaves are with that vibrant red, hot pink. I love the stems that are like a light pink. I think it's just a beautiful plant, and I love how easy it is, but that's all Algonemas. Wasn't it? Oh, I was just trying to check, make sure any roots weren't coming out. So yeah, this plant is doing well and growing, and it sits here. Can you guys see me? I think you can see me a little bit, but it sits here in the corner. It has its own grow light over there. And then in this corner, and it's really hard to see, there's another Algonema with its own little grow light. Because they're so far away from the window, I wanted to make sure they got some light. And I'm going to share that one with you because it has new growth as well. Okay, trying not to damage any other plants. So my Algonema Golden Madonna, she is doing great. This leaf here, well, there's two things going on. Let me see if I can share that with you. She has a new leaf coming in right here. You guys see that? And this leaf right here, I'm kneeling down a little bit, is brand new. And I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. And look how big it is. Yeah, so, and the same with this Golden Madonna as what I said with the red emerald. I probably will fertilize them also during the off season because they continue to just grow and they're quite happy. And I have repotted them at least 2 times because their roots keep, you know, growing out of the bottom. And that's when I repot them, when there's several roots growing out their bottom. So yeah, my Golden Madonna has made it to the updates because as usual, she is giving me beautiful leaves. Okay guys, so I moved the plant that was hanging right here so that I could get to the next one without damaging leaves. And it is also a Algonema. This is my Algonema CM, and she is going crazy. She has so many leaves coming in at the same time. Here's a leaf. There's a leaf. Here's another leaf coming in right here. I mean, she just has so many leaves. Here's another one. I don't know if you can see it. That's unfurling right here. So she has it like, oh, and here's another one. I didn't even see this one. Can you see that? Right there. So she got like 4 or 5 leaves just coming in. And she is doing really great. Look how nice and bushy she is. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful plant. And she's quite happy. I've had to repot her several times as well. And she's just quite happy. And the only thing I can say about my Algonemas is I had to slow down on watering them. And I think I kind of figured that out when I was watching Janae Simone, because I think in one of her videos she was mentioning how often she watered her Algonemas, and I was thinking, oh, I water mine way more than that. And maybe that's why, you know, I was getting, I don't know how to describe it, leaves that were like mushy. They were coming in, they were real mushy, like they had been soaked in water. And I was like, that might be a sign of overwatering. And so I cut back, and sure enough, that stopped, and I've had no more problem. So I would say with my aglaonemas, it's really hot now. So I would say generally for the Pacific Northwest weather, that when it's not extremely hot, like today, 100 degrees, I water my aglaonemas probably every other week, but definitely not every week, because it's too much, and I do notice that I have problems with them. All right, I'm trying to get through all of these plants that are on the floor without stepping on them. I haven't talked about this plant in a while, and this is my, I want to say, I'm getting the tag off of this pot here. Isn't this a silver streak? Pothos? Yep. She's doing well. I got her, I believe from Walmart, and she is giving me new growth here. This one is unfurling, and wow, she's really dry. I think I am gonna water tonight. Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea to drag this out till tomorrow because the weather has been unusually hot. So I'm going to go ahead and water them tonight. But anyway, yeah, this is my Pothos Silver Streak. You know what I like about this plant? It's, to me, it looks completely different than any other Pothos that I have or that I've seen. Just the shape of its leaves. I wouldn't think that this was a Pothos. I don't know what I would think it would be, but I would not think of Pothos when I see this plant, and I love it. It is absolutely gorgeous. Even the like texture of the leaves, the design, you can see that. Almost, it has that silvery tinge that is absolutely gorgeous and thirsty. So yeah, that's the next update. What else is going on back here, you guys? I want to share with you my Monstera. I never can remember her name. Stedtland Cobra. Monstera Stedtland Cobra. I also got her from Walmart a while ago. She is doing well. She's giving me new leaves, a whole new runner. Well, not a runner, because a runner means it doesn't have any leaves, but a whole new growth point, I guess you would call it. She's getting taller right here. I love the little stripes that she has on some of her leaves, the little white speckles. Look at this one. Yeah, I like the fact that how full she is. She's a really full plant. When I purchased her, that I believe it's the same as the other plant that I just showed you, the Pothos. I got them from Walmart. It was really cold. They had them outside. I don't know how these growers and sellers do their plants, but they really need to realize that Pacific Northwest in like June, May, we could still be really, really cold, and you cannot have plants outside. I know there have been July 4th. This July 4th was hot, but there's been July 4th where we've been in the 50s. So I don't know if they don't take that in consideration, but they had these plants in the outside area of Walmart, and they were freezing. I wish I took video of it where you could see how some of the leaves were curling in. It was horrible. And so I was able to get a few of those plants and, you know, kind of bring them back. This was one of them. I've been told that what they do is they just throw them out. They don't really from what I've been told, the workers at Walmart are not responsible for the plants. They have someone that comes in, and I don't know if the person just doesn't care or doesn't understand, but that was ridiculous how they were just allowing those plants to die. You know, if you like plants, it was just really hard to look at. But yeah, that's that monstera doing very well. And you guys, I want to show you, you know what? If I had to have a second genius as being what's my favorite, it might be, don't hold me to this, but it might be begonias. And I don't know the proper name for this. Okay guys, my phone was acting crazy, so I think what I was saying was this might be my second favorite genius, and I don't know the scientific name for this plant because it just says Begonia Rex when I purchased it. But I love collecting begonias, and this one, out of all my begonias, I think this is my favorite. I just think it's something about these silvery leaves with the burgundy. It is absolutely gorgeous. And so, yeah, it's giving me, I guess it's really shouldn't, well, I guess it could be in the update as for growing, because it does have quite a few leaves here on the bottom that are coming up. And so, yeah, I love begonias, and I think this is most definitely my favorite begonia. So you guys, I think that is all of the updates that I want to give you here in my plant room. Why is this crooked? I hate when it does that. It drives me crazy. And so now we're going to go downstairs and see what's going on with the plant collection in my downstairs area. Okay, you guys, we are now in my office area. Let's see if you can see me. So kind of glaring here. This plant is not in my office. It lives in my dining room area, but my daughter is in the living room, so I brought her in here, and that is my ponytail palm. I don't show her very often, but she has been growing and growing and doing very well. I've repotted her several times, and yeah, and she is a really easy plant. What I would say about ponytail palms is do not overwater them. I've been told that they store water in this big trunk area, and so you have to be really, really careful, because even though we're having record temperature, high temperatures here, she's not dry. I may give her a little bit of water today, but she's not dry like the other plants. She really is able to maintain moisture for quite a bit. But yeah, she's growing and doing well. Okay guys, here is my next plant in my update. Okay, let's just start with, I'm trying to hold her because she's in a container. Look at how full she is in the top. And she wasn't like this. You could see the soil for a while, but she has grown in. And then look at how long she is. She's doing great. And I believe she's called a creeping inch vine. I got her as a cutting, a really small cutting, and she's grown. I do notice that a lot of times as she gets longer, I have the vines in the top, some of them die out or they lose their leaves, and I end up cutting them and trying to propagate them back. But for the most part, she's been a pretty easy plant and really beautiful. Her green and purple leaves are absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if you can see that. So her leaves on the front is green, and then the back, let's turn it around, it has let's see, purple, see, beautiful. and she's really thirsty. I'm gonna just go ahead and water her before I put her back, because one thing about this plant, she does not tolerate drying out at all. So I'm gonna give her a good watering before I put her back. But yeah, she's growing beautifully. I have been having a hard time propagating her though. I don't think I've had a successful propagation, because like I said, sometimes some of the stems lose their leaves to the point that it doesn't look right, so I cut it and then I try to propagate it so that I can put it back in the plant. I've not been successful, not once, with the propagation. They don't grow roots, and they what's the word I want? They rot when I put it in the water. I've tried soil, that didn't work either. But I'm gonna keep trying to figure out how to propagate this plant, because I would like to have another one. And from this one, I feel like I should be able to get another plant growing. So, but I'm gonna keep trying. But right now, she's my one and only beauty in my collection. And I think her name is Creeping Inch Vine. Okay guys, here's another plant. Again, this plant does not live in my plant room. I mean, not my plant room, doesn't live in my office. It's in the living room area. But this is my Algonema, Miss Juliet. And I don't know, it's kind of bright. Let me see if I can help that. Okay, is that better? I don't know if it is or not. It's really bright outside, but ooh, look at that. Look at the leaves. Look at the designs. I know you can see that. Absolutely beautiful. And she's giving me new leaves. And she's blooming. So let's see if we can show you. Here is one of her new leaves. Right here. And her blooms, they haven't opened. I just saw it. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. See that? It's a bloom. And then there's another one. Okay, so it's this one. And there's another one. I saw another bloom somewhere. I could have sworn I saw another bloom. Maybe not. But yeah, she's blooming. She's giving me new leaves. I love this Algonema. She's a little different than the rest of my Algonemas, you know what I mean? Like the shape of her leaves, the design. She reminds me like tiger stripes or zebra stripes. Yeah, but she's absolutely gorgeous. She hangs out in my dining room area. Pretty easy to care for. Again, doesn't need a lot of water. I water her even less than I water the Algonemas in my office, because my dining room area is not as high humidity, it's not as hot, and so she maintains her water. So I think I may water her once a month, sometimes even less than that. But yeah, my Algonema, Miss Juliet, absolutely gorgeous. Okay guys, so this is a propagation, and initially I had just the part in the front. This plant is going crazy, by the way. Look at this. And then there was nothing but soil right here, and so what I did was, can you see that? I propagated. I have another spider plant that had babies, and so I took her babies and placed them so that it wouldn't be so bald in the front, and they all took. Unlike my Creeping Inch Vine that I can't propagate at all. And so yeah, she is huge. I don't particularly care the way she's leaning, but I don't know. I'm gonna just let her do her thing. Hopefully, you know, as she grows out, it'll be all, you know, what's the word? Full on the top, and it won't look so weird, because like she's hanging over. But yeah, I'm really loving this plant. And this plant lives in my kitchen windowsill, so she gets a lot of sun. And you would say, well, maybe she's reaching for the sun. No, because the sun is behind her, so I don't know why she's doing this. But anyway, the way she sits, the sun is behind her. So if she was reaching for the sun, she would actually be going the opposite direction. So that's not it. But anyway, she's absolutely gorgeous. and she's made it to an update for the month of July. Okay, you guys, I think this is my last plant that's going to be a part of my update for the month of July, I think, and that is my Hoya publicalis. Am I saying that right? I'm not. This is not a Hoya publicalis. Excuse me. This is a Hoya microfolia. And look, can you see? Look at those leaves, you guys. She is beautiful. And she has a lot of vines just everywhere. And she hangs out. She lives on my dining room curtain rod. So she gets a lot of sun. And I just think she's beautiful. She's doing a lot of sun stressing. Look at that leaf right there. And look at this one. Yeah, she's just great. Yeah, she is a very easy Hoya. And as long as you, dead leaf here, which is a part of, I have to remember that leaves dying is a part of the plants, most plants, I guess all plants cycles. You just need to make sure that if it's a leaf that is old and not, a leaf dying because of something you're doing, not watering enough, overwatering, pest, not enough light, too much light, but with this plant, it looks really good. And I think that just was one of its older leaves, because I see absolutely no signs of distress or anything else from this plant. It is absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, you guys, that is the end of this video, updating you on all the good, the bad, and the ugly that's going on in my collection for the month of July. And like I always say, you guys, until next time, be blessed.